IMW Trains here, and today I'm going to be discussing the reason why there aren't many mainline steam locomotive excursions compared to the golden era of mainline excursions. So let's get started with some myths. These are myths that most rail fans make up when someone asks why a mainline steam locomotive isn't running on a main line. The first and probably biggest myth is that railroads will quote-unquote give permission to operate a steam locomotive on their line. This is the dumbest answer I've ever heard, because why would a railroad turn down a customer? There is a better answer, but I will come back to that later. The next myth is that steam locomotives do not have PTC. This is somewhat correct, but mostly wrong, because there is a PTC system for steam locomotives, but very few steam locomotives have the system installed at the time that I am recording this video. The third and final myth I'll go over is that mainline railroads do not care about their heritage. This is wrong, because without their predecessors, many of the safety features of today's railroads would not exist. Railroads do indeed care about their past, but sometimes they don't want to celebrate that heritage for important reasons. With the myths out of the way, let's talk about the real reasons why there aren't many mainline steam locomotive excursions. The biggest reason why mainline excursions are rare is money. Passenger railroad excursions aren't cheap. There is the cost of preparing, transporting, and maintaining the equipment, as well as trackage rights and insurance. It is significantly cheaper to run excursions on a short line or tourist railroad because of the lower cost of trackage rights and insurance. The reason why there aren't many excursions on Class 1 railroads is because of the high costs of trackage rights and insurance. Back in the day, most railroads would pay most, if not all, of the cost of the insurance. But due to a rise in insurance costs due to derailments and the death of trespassers or people on board, railroads needed to cut some costs. Railroads are not non-profit organizations that allow anyone to run on their lines for free. They need to transport goods from one place to the next as fast and as cheap as possible in order to make a profit. There are two options for Class 1 railroad excursions. Have the excursion program be in-house like the Union Pacific, which would be cheaper, or bring in other organizations like the 21st Century Steam Program did, which would be more expensive. Most organizations that restore and operate steam locomotives today are nonprofits and rely on donations. The other big reason is that there are very few organizations that have operational steam locomotives ready to run. This is because the large amount of time needed to restore a locomotive, which is typically 1 to 5 years, but could take up to 20 years. The reason why it takes that long is because of the lack of knowledgeable mechanics to restore and maintain steam-powered locomotives. There are nonprofit organizations like the Kentucky Steam Heritage Corporation that want to educate more people about the restoration of steam locomotives, but there are very few young adults that want to carry on that tradition. In conclusion, the reason why there are very few mainline steam locomotive excursions today are the large cost of excursions and the lack of steady funds and volunteers. With all that in mind, I would like to encourage all of my viewers to help these nonprofit organizations by either donating money or volunteering your time to help restore these locomotives. It won't be long before those who are currently keeping these locomotives preserved and in operation will not be able to do the hard work anymore, and I hope some of you will be able to preserve these locomotives and operate them for many generations to come. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more videos. If you can, also please donate to any nonprofit railroad preservation organization so they will be able to preserve our railroading past for the future. I am W Trains, and I'll see you next time. Out.